Threats of mass violence and the exploitation of children are some of the most heinous crimes we investigate. And this case was no different. 14-year-old Jose Bagan Jr. was engaged in an online chat room that's designed or designated for violent extremists. In this online chat room, he discussed shooting up a church nearby his home located in Wimauma. He didn't specify which church that was. This case is a dangerous intersection between individuals that engage in online activity and the real-life threat that it poses. This 14-year-old is linked to a neo-Nazi satanic group called Temple of Love, where they advocate and encourage violence to achieve spiritual enlightenment. This residence a few days earlier, this search warrant and arrest happened on January 31st. A few days earlier, on January 27th, we had received information, and our internet predator unit was working a suspected child exploitation allegations at the same address, child pornography charges coming from the same IP address located at a computer within that home. So armed with the search warrants, detectives serve a search warrant and realized that the computer is linked to this 14-year-old. Doing a cursory search, they discovered 14 extremely graphic, disturbing images where individuals were inflicting violence towards infants and toddlers. Images too graphic and too disturbing to discuss, because they would keep all of you up at night. He was placed under arrest for those images. I firmly believe, now that we recovered and seized all his electronics devices, that there will be additional charges pending once we complete the forensic download of his electronic devices. The question being, did he have access to firearms? Could he commit this violence? Inside his father's safe, which he didn't have access to, was an assault rifle and 2 firearms. But there was a firearm located and recovered in his dad's nightstand that he easily could have access to. Think about the potential of the violence that could have occurred. At this time, there's 2 churches located in the nearby area of where his house is. We have directed patrol activities that are occurring, which means several times throughout the day, especially during worship service, we will make sure that we have a presence at these churches to deter him or anyone else who thought that they may inflict violence. Whether it be a place of education, a place of worship, or any type of public place, this community has an expectations of safety, and it will always be a focal point of safety and a priority for each of us. He has been charged with written terroristic threats, along with the images that I spoke about, the 14 images, the 10 or more images of the child pornography that he was found to be in possession of. He is currently charged as a juvenile. Let me make something very clear. Don't let the age of this suspect diminish the seriousness of these crimes that he committed. We will work with the state attorney. Whether he's charged as an adult or not charged as an adult will be a decision that she will ultimately make. I can tell you that after the 21-day hold of this juvenile, based on the seriousness of crimes and the graphic images and the threats of violence and this violent extremist group that he was a part of, where we retrieved images where he was dressed in black, where he wore the white t-shirt with the symbol LLM, No Lives Matter. I'm extremely worried about this 14-year-old integrating back into our community where our loved ones live. At this time, what questions can I attempt to answer?
Does it shock you at all to hear that he was 14 years old and had so many images of those that were horrific?
This case is extremely worrisome. Cases like this, I always stand in front of a camera and I advocate that there's no such thing as being a helicopter pilot. There's no such thing as being a helicopter parent. There's no such thing as overparenting. Please, if I can make a plea to every parent out there, there's no such thing as overparenting. Make sure you're monitoring your child's online activity. Who are they associating with? Who are they talking to? God forbid it ever reach the level that an activity that this 14-year-old was engaged in.
Sheriff, can you shed some more light on the tip that came in? Like, how did the sheriff's office become aware of this?
Yes. We received a tip from the Joint Terrorism Task Force about the mass shooting. And at the same time, a few days earlier, we received a tip from a child exploitation hotline that we received that they got information that there was child pornography images being downloaded at this residence. This is when the detectives immediately took action, got a search warrant, and were able to get to this point today where this individual is no longer a threat to this community.
Sheriff, that moment when you were made aware of these sort of two different investigations, you have the terrorism one and then also the child porn, when you realize it's the same address and potentially the same suspect, what runs through your mind?
Well, I was grateful the fact that we have a system, an internal system, where anytime we're working something at a residence, is communicated throughout the agency. So regardless of what department or division or your assignment is, there's information sharing. So I was happy the fact that we have the Internet Predator Unit along with the Joint Terrorism Task Force detective that's associated with that task force that was able to communicate when they started researching these addresses and get linked up and be able to put a stop to any type of threat of violence or someone that continues to engage in this type of behavior before it was able to become an even larger threat to this community.
This extremist group that you mentioned, is this like a Florida-based thing? Is this a national-based thing? What more can you tell us about this group?
This is a neo-Nazi satanic group that advocates for violence as a terms of achieving spiritual enlightenment. This is a national recognized hate group, and their tentacles go into any community, especially that of a vulnerable 14-year-old who's left unsupervised, engaged in, and did nothing but become more and more associated with this group. To what extent? Luckily, thankfully, we'll never know.
How did the parents react to seeing all this kind of content?
The parent was quite upset. The child didn't seem much bothered by it. The only explanation he gave is he was trying to be edgy. I don't know if I'll ever understand that. The dad was upset. You could even see on the deputy's body cam that the dad was admonishing him. I told you not to get on there. I told you not to talk to these people. I told you not to associate with these people. He was upset.
Will there be any other charges? I know, obviously 14, I don't know if there's an adult involved at all.
There certainly will, I firmly believe that there'll be additional charges. Those weren't the only 14 images. I firmly believe there'll be additional images. Now, once we conduct our forensic sweep of these images, depending on how many images, more images that we recover, when we do a deep dive, even when they erase it, we can still get to it. I don't know. I think that's the worrisome and scary part, but it's much more than those 14 images. I can assure you. The weapons?
Where did the teen get the weapons from?
Yeah. His dad had him weapons locked in a safe that he didn't have access to, but there was a weapon that he could have easily assessed that was in his dad's nightstand. Thank you, everyone. Have a wonderful and safe day.